Well, U.S. foreign policy is rapidly shifting under President Trump, and some are very concerned. A number of U.S. officials told CBS News that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth issued a directive to U.S. Cyber Command to stop planning against Russia. Now, the reason behind the pause and how long it will last is still unclear at this time. Let's bring Andrew Borene in, who is a senior fellow at the National Security Institute and former senior intelligence official. Thank you so much for being with us from London, no doubt. What do we know about the pause in the cyber offensive against Russia?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. And I'm sure you're aware your whole coverage today has got a lot of London in it after the weekend with European leaders convening with Prime Minister Starmer here. So I wanted to set that as a setting. The big conversation here in London is about Ukraine generally. And so in that context, given that the United States under President Trump and a big push to try to start negotiations, it does look like perhaps this could be part of a detente to bring Russia to the negotiating table. Could be part of a detente to kind of show leadership, step forward in the negotiation. It's hard to say exactly how it plays out. I think it's very early days, and we have not seen all the dust settle yet on the global context.
Yeah, I mean, there have been years of concerns, though, about Russian influence on American government. I mean, this is a sudden shift, right?
Well, again, I can't speak to classified issues or anything I've had past access to, but I will say that from what I have read in the newspaper, it sounds as though this would be a restriction on offensive planning. And if that's made public, perhaps that is meant as a sort of first move in a detente. When you think about Ronald Reagan and the strategic arms limitation treaties, or SALT I, SALT II, and reducing armaments, I do not personally believe that it is unrealistic to suggest that cyber warfare could escalate in terms of the amount of suffering, lost economic capacity, social disruption, and frankly, physical hazards as well when you look at some of the mechanisms that could be attacked. So again, I cannot speak to it. I'm not in those rooms, but perhaps it's meant as part of a broader negotiating strategy to bring things to a more peaceful equilibrium. I mean, I think that would be the best case scenario.
I'm curious because, so much has changed in terms of the United States' relationship with Russia just in the past month. So how could all of this impact the future of NATO?
Well, let's shift over to NATO. Just last year, we were talking about the recent accession of Sweden and Finland into what is now a 32-member alliance. And I think it's really important to look at the historical context of why that happened. Those were both traditionally non-aligned states, meaning because they shared significant land border with the Russian Federation, previously with the USSR, they knew that they needed to be kind of friendly with both sides of the transatlantic divide. Since the invasion of full-scale invasion of Ukraine 3 years ago, a lot of European governments, European defense officials, intelligence officials became very concerned about Russian hybrid warfare or Russian malign influence seeping into their borders. So we did see a couple of historically almost 50 plus years of non-aligned statehood with Sweden and Finland, actually take back 75 years, then running into the NATO fold. So I think we've seen a few weeks of headlines. I think it is considerably premature to start defining what's going to happen with the alliance.
All right. Andrew Borene with the National Security Institute. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you again for having me. Be safe.
Be safe to you.